So you have decided to make the move here to Tennessee and you are looking for a piece of land to call your own. Well, that is great because today we are going to be taking a look at some of the cheapest land in the entire state of Tennessee. This is actually part 3 in a series on cheap land we've been doing here in the state of Tennessee. So if you've seen part 1 and 2, then you can go ahead and fast forward through this segment to the first property. So folks, just so you have a little bit of context in regards to land prices here in Tennessee, and you can look at it with a little bit of a wider lens, we need to look at the average price of an acre of land here in Tennessee. So that average acre is going to run you around $14,000 per acre. Now, the price per acre can vary based on a number of different factors, including, location, usability, topography. Is the land cleared? Is there a home site? Has any soil science been done? Is there a driveway? Are there utilities? Yeah, there's a lot that goes into placing valuation on land. So keep that in mind as we look at these properties today. And if you have the time, you may want to check out some of our other videos on buying land here in the state of Tennessee. All right, folks, so the first property we're going to be looking at today here is going to be 0 Deer Hollow Drive, lot 184 in Parsons, Tennessee. So as we see, it is currently listed at $15,000 or $7,576 per acre. So what that means is that is going to be beating our $14,000 an acre price point, or our $14,000 an acre on average here in Tennessee. So we're below average pricing there. That's good. It is 1.980 acres, so almost 2 whole acres. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So off the bat, we see the description here. It is going to be a wooded building lot, and that's a curious statement. We're going to discuss that in just a minute as to why that may be a curious statement. It is in a gated community. As you can see, the lake is just right down the road there. Beautiful lake there. And this is within a neighborhood. We can see right here that there's a $225 a year HOA fee, and you must have a gate code to enter the property. Obviously, it's a gated community. They do have some restrictions in regard to what you can build on the home site there. We see that in our description. I will say it does have over 500 feet of road frontage. So that's good. A lot of people like having road frontage. Some folks don't, but a lot of people do. Makes accessing the property pretty easy. You do have a private community boat ramp within this community, so that's pretty cool. If you're if you're into the lake life, you've got a boat. Always nice to know that you can launch it just down the road from your home. So as we look through here, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at our pictures here and really break down why this lot may be priced the way that it is. Again, this is almost 2 acres. We're only at $7,576 an acre as it's listed. So that beats our $14,000 an acre on average here in the state of Tennessee. But again, we have to ask ourselves, especially when we're looking at cheap land, why things may be priced the way that they are. So scrolling through our pictures here, we see a uniquely shaped lot. These lines are approximate. Sounds like they have not had a survey yet, so that could be an additional cost that you could incur if you wanted to have an exact survey done. Once we look at the lot, we see that it is an irregularly shaped lot. So you've got quite a bit of space through half of it. If we divide right here at this corner, you see that you do have quite a bit of space right there. Obviously this is the entrance and the gate to the community down here on the right hand side of the screen here. And as we go through these pictures, folks, we'll kind of break down why it may be priced the way that it is. So a regularly shaped lot, that is going to kind of limit your usability. You know, if you put your house right here and you have a yard, you have to think that's not going to leave you a whole lot of space over here. So as we scroll through, then we really start to see the whole entire picture. So as you can see, this is the road frontage here. There's the gate to the community in the right hand side of the screen there. But as we see off the road, you've got quite a bit of slope here. Now it does look like it flattens out down here near the gate of the community, or we'll go back to the wider part of the lot here. It does look like it opens up and kind of flattens out over here. But the second half of the lot, that narrow portion, is very, very, very sloped. So if you wanted to be able to do anything with that, you know, put a shed on it, put a shop on it, something along those lines, not only are you going to have to deal with HOA restrictions, but you're also going to have to deal with the topography of the land here, as well as clearing the land. This is very heavily wooded property. We can see, you know, this would kind of roughly be our lot lines here, and you can see that it's very heavily wooded, so you are going to have to do quite a bit of clearing. Again, we see that topography there, and this is just another angle. Road frontage is good on both sides. Again, we see that it flattens out here in the corner. You'd likely want to put your home site there, but we see the topography through the rest of the lot. So that is absolutely going to play a role in placing a valuation on this piece of property. You know, that's going to take quite a bit of earth moving to get a level lot. It's going to take clearing to get rid of all these trees. And you know, one thing about timber and trees, if you look, there does not seem to be any sort of mature marketable timber on this lot. There may be one or two trees through here, like this one here, but for the most part, it's younger growth timber. It will likely not be worth it to timber that lot and clear it in regards to lumber prices and things like that. As we can see here, this is the private boat ramp in the community. Beautiful lake. You can't beat that. Super quick access, obviously, to the lake, so that is an awesome benefit. But just looking at everything on the face value, you know, $15,000 for nearly 2 acres, that sounds like a great deal. You know, we're below that $14,000 an acre price point. And, you know, we're doing really good in that regard. But again, once we dive into it, we see that usability and the amount of money that you're going to have to put into this lot may not make it the value that it appears to be on the surface. All right, folks, so this is going to be the second property that we're taking a look at today. Now, this one's a little bit more expensive. We can see that it is listed at $15,900 for 1.30 acres. So roughly $12,231 an acre. So that's good. It still puts us below our $14,000 an acre on average price point. So we're doing good there. We read the description and everything. We do see that that the land is cleared in this first picture, obviously, but we see in the comments that the home site has already been cleared and it is mostly level. So that's pretty awesome right there. That cut a lot of your upfront costs in regard to building out of the equation. It is in a smaller community with 0 HOAs and minimal restrictions. That's really good. Me personally, I don't like HOAs, and I really don't like being restricted in regards to what I can do on my own property. let's go ahead and dive in. Take a look at these pictures here. We can see it is mostly flat. There is some good timber on here. It looks not a ton, but it does look like there's some good timber. There we go. We see it is right off the road, and we do have a pretty flat area over here on the right to potentially build our home there. And we'll just keep going through these pictures here. It is very gently sloped. So this would be great in regards to, you know, having a yard, having kids in the yard, being able to fence it in, actually being able to use your property. So that's really, really great. You've got a big pond in the community that you can access. That's always an added bonus. I love being able to, you know, take my nephews out, go fishing and catch some bluegill or some bass. You know, that's always a lot of fun to spend that time with them. So let's take a look at the lot shape. It is an irregularly shaped lot. Again, it's right off the road here, so you could tie your driveway right into it, and then you know, you've got your flat area there to put your home site on. And I love this because it is a very gently sloped lot, so you have a lot you can do in regards to usability there. You know, again, you can build a shop on it. You could put a swing set out there for the kids. You can mow without falling off the side of a cliff. That is great stuff right there. And I wanted to show you this property because I really think this is a great value for somebody looking to move out to Spencer, Tennessee, and kind of get away from the city life and have their own little slice of Tennessee to settle down on. Again, let's just take a peek at the pictures. It does look like you may have some marketable timber. Doesn't look like there will be enough to make it worth timbering the lot. But again, I love that you're right off the road. You've got a flat area to potentially build your home, gentle sloping lot for the rest of it, so you can have a yard, you can have all that usability. And yeah, again, folks, you can't beat a pond either. You can't beat having access to a pond, especially now that we're coming into the summer months. Everybody wants to get outside and do things. So yeah, I wanted to show you this property because I really do think this is a great value for what it represents. All right, folks, this is going to be our third property. This is going to be 9.32 acres in Wayne County, Tennessee, out near the Hohenwald area. It's a beautiful part of Middle Tennessee, pretty mountainous. It does get pretty rural out there, so you can get away from the city. This is going to be listed at $40,000 for 9.320 acres, or roughly $4,292 an acre. So this absolutely crushes our $14,000 an acre price point on average here in Tennessee. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures and see what we may be dealing with here. Now, this may interest those folks who are looking to do like a homestead or a mini farm, you know, something along those lines. Really get out and become self-reliant. Now, I will say this could be the right spot for somebody who wants to be entirely off the grid. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Looking at our pictures here, we see that it is a dirt road. I mean, that's Hohenwald for you right there. I did say it gets pretty rural out here, but for the most part, this entire lot is all going to be extremely heavily wooded. So keep that in mind. A lot of clearing, a lot of work to get it to the point to where you can even do soil science. It takes a lot of work to get it just to the point to be able to know if you can build on the property and install a septic system, run utilities and things like that. I will say, being this far out in the country, being on a dirt road, running utilities is going to be a very, very, very expensive prospect. So Keep that in mind. We're already racking up costs, folks. We see that the property itself is only $4,292 an acre, which smashes our $14,000 an acre price point here in Tennessee. But let's go ahead and tally up our front end costs right off the bat. We're going to have to clear to be able to do a percolation test to see if we can put a septic system in and potentially build on the property. We're going to have to run utilities, which, as you can see, there's not a single power pole on this road. There aren't any water lines or anything like that, if I had to guess either. So that's going to be a very, very expensive prospect to get electricity and water out there. Imagine now that you can't run water out there. You now have to potentially drill a well. So that's well testing, which requires more clearing and potential for failure. So, every well test doesn't yield usable groundwater. So a lot of costs we're racking up already, folks. Again, this is why I mentioned this may be an ideal property for someone who's trying to get off grid and do the homesteading style of living. As we see here, folks, again, it is thick as can be. Very, very, very heavily wooded. That's going to require a large amount of clearing. That takes a lot of work, folks, and it's expensive work as well. Now, you can always hire folks to come out and clear cut this. They'll bring a bulldozer type machine with an attachment on the front that will just grind trees to a pulp and clear this land down to the dirt. However, that's a very expensive cost. And if you sit there and go, okay, well, I can do that myself, Mark, I can save money there. I'm sure that you certainly could, but look at how thick this is. You're going to have to clear all of that by hand. So we start to see that the costs are just climbing and climbing and climbing with this, folks. So that's why I say it may be an ideal fit for somebody who's trying to get off grid. Now, again, I mentioned it is pretty mountainous here. It is kind of nice. This 9.32 acres does appear that it's kind of on a ridge. If we imagine our property line just following my cursor here down to the back of the lot and back up here, it looks like we are on a relatively flat portion of land, so that's good. You don't have to deal with a ton of topography from what I can tell. You may end up with a little bit of topography back here towards the back edge of the tract here. It does seem to have plenty of marketable timber. Let's scroll back through our pictures here. Most of these trees on the front side of the property don't look like they would be of any value at all. This is scrub. This is stuff you tear down, push it into a big brush pile and burn it, have a bonfire. But some of these bigger trees throughout the lot, you may have a little bit of marketable timber there, so that's good. That could help you offset your costs slightly. So that's a positive it's got going for it. But overall, folks, usability and everything like that, you're going to have to do an absolute metric ton of work to get this property to a point where you can use it and enjoy it to its full potential. Unless, of course, you're like me, where, I would clear cut a driveway, clear cut a home site, build my home site set back off of the road, and then leave the rest of the lot wooded, because I love the woods, I love nature, I love being able to see nature and kind of live in and amongst nature. So that's personally what I would do with this lot. But for your folks who want to start their own mini farm, or really have a slice of Tennessee to call their own, and build that traditional home with a white picket fence type deal, this may not be the value that it looks like on the face of things. So these are all factors to consider when you're looking at cheap raw land here in Tennessee. Again, it's everybody wants to build a home until they start diving into it and seeing how much cost and how much work is involved in just getting raw land to the point of potentially being able to build, much less finalizing the process and getting everything done to the point where you've hit the closing table and you've got the keys to your new build in your hands. So again, folks, a lot to consider here. Chris and I are always happy to help you, help you look at property and make those decisions, make those calls, talk through your options, and see if a cheap piece of land like this here in Tennessee is going to be right for you. All right, folks, that is going to wrap up our third installment of our cheap land series here in Tennessee. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned a little bit and it gave you a little bit of perspective what goes into getting raw land to the point of building your dream home. So remember, folks, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a personalized Zoom call with us so that we can help you make a smooth move and educated decisions here in Tennessee. Until next time, I hope to see you around town soon.